David here with Figboot on pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today I have something for you I'm guessing you've never seen before. It's a pen from a brand you're probably not familiar with called Radius, but it is associated with a fountain pen company which you are familiar with. The pen I have for you today is a limited edition fountain pen day offering from the Italian retailer Stilo Stile. And the pen I have for you is the Radius Prisma. What I am going to do today is go over the parts and features of this very interesting offering, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about this new brand, or new-ish brand, at least new to me. And I will show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to the good folks at Stilo Stile for providing this pen for review. One thing that Stilo Stile has done very well over the last few years is produce some extraordinary limited edition offerings, mainly in partnership with the Italian brand Leonardo. I'll show you some of them during the size comparisons to jog your memory. But they have really knocked it out of the park with these offerings, and I feel that they have done that again with this model from Radius. And here is the pen. This is the Radius Prisma. Radius is a brand which was founded back in 1934 and was based out of Turin, Italy, which is located in the northern part of the country. The region hosted the Olympic Games back in 2006. The company produced pens for around 20 years until the mid-1950s. Radius is now owned by Leonardo. They began producing pens under that name back in 2019 based on historical designs. The Prisma here is based on a model called the Antarctica. Other than this model, though, through Stilo Stile, I believe currently the only place you can purchase a Radius pen is through the Radius company website. Stilo Stile have produced a few other pens with this white frosted Italian resin. I'm very fond of the material. I think it looks really sharp. And this particular model is accented with some very nice PVD rainbow trim. Okay, let's take a look at the parts and features of this pen. The top comes to a rounded coned tip. This transitions into the clip. The clip is on the shorter side. I'm fond of this really nice rainbow gradient. With this type of application, just about every part will be slightly different, but I really like how this one turned out. In regard to functionality, the clip is not too stiff and fits in a pocket or shirt very nicely. The cap angles up at an even rate of incline. I really like this frosted matte material. It's just translucent enough for you to get a peek at the shadow of the nib in there. At the end of the cap on the back, it is engraved with Radius and Stilo Stile, as well as the number of this pen. This will be a limited edition offering of 300 units. And then we have the distinctive cap band, with 3 connected bands and a diamond pattern. I really like how you can get a good peek at the underlying resin through the bands and diamond cutouts. Plus, seeing all of the bands here before they were put on the pen is kind of neat as well. The end of the cap angles down slightly, creating a medium-sized step down to the barrel. The barrel is slightly rounded. It angles up just a minute amount before a gentle taper down to the end of the barrel where the decline increases slightly and the end, like the top of the barrel, comes to a rounded coned tip. The cap twists off with a single rotation, and underneath we have a number 6 stainless steel Jowo nib. As you can see, this nib also has that rainbow PVD treatment. This nib will be available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, as well as a 1.1 stub. The nib is engraved with Radius and Superior. And then here's a look at the plastic feed. The section is a bit on the short side. It begins with a slight flare and then angles up until you reach the threads and a thin rainbow band signaling the beginning of the barrel. I really like the feeling of this matte material in the hand. It provides a real nice surface which is easy to maintain your desired grip. With this smaller section, I do find my grip to come in contact with the threads, but they're smooth enough that I hardly even notice it. The Prisma is long enough to use unposted. The cap does post. It posts fairly deeply and securely. I don't feel that posting backweights the pen or throws it out of balance, so if you like to post your pens, this will work well for you. This is a cartridge converter pen. It accepts standard international cartridges and a converter is provided. With the metal contained here in the section, even though the barrel is one piece, eyedropping would not be recommended. There's a couple of really nice details here. I like that the PVD treatment extends onto the section threads. And I even like it more that it's included into the extended metal piston knob of the converter. When the pen is in use, you can get a real decent look at the rainbow through the frosted Italian resin. As I've mentioned previously, this limited edition Radius Prisma is only going to be available through the retailer Stilo Stile, and it will go on sale November 2nd at 6 p.m. Italy time, which is 6 hours ahead of Eastern time. So noon Eastern on the 2nd, which is when I am posting this review. The pen will retail for 195 euros for customers within the EU, and for customers outside of the EU who don't need to pay the VAT, then the cost will be around 159 euros, which equates to right around $169. On top of that, if you use the code FPD2023, or basically Fountain Pen Day 2023, you can receive an additional 10% discount. That discount code is only good from 6 p.m. Italy time on November 2nd until 11:59 p.m. Italy time on November 3rd. So basically like 2 days. So if you are planning to pick this pen up, it would be advantageous to do so sooner rather than later, because I have a feeling these 300 units will get snatched up rather quickly. I feel the non-VAT price of around $169 is very reasonable for what you receive with this pen. The standard Radius models, which this model is based on, typically sell in the low 200 range. So this is a decent price. And then if you also utilize the discount code, it makes it even better. I am a big fan, like I've said, of this frosted look and feel like they've knocked it out of the park again with a limited edition release. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what else Radius comes out with in the near future. Okay. Thanks again. Go out to Stilo Stile for providing this pen for review. Now it is time for some measurement, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Radius Prisma. And now you can see what it looks like when it's inked up, how you can get a good look at the converter in there. But then I also like how you can still see the rainbow through there, and even here through the section. I think it's just a nice subtle rainbow finish. In regard to some size comparisons with some of the other models, this was the original Prisma. This is the Leonardo Momento Zero. You can see that the Momento Zero is slightly larger as far as longer, but the Prisma is slightly thicker. Then there was, actually, I'm sorry, this was not the Prisma. This was the Pura, excuse me. This was called the Pura, which is almost more of a Momento Zero Grande size. And then this was the Prisma, which is the standard Momento Zero. Let me actually put it right next to that so you can see the difference between there. But I think all three of those look really nice. In regard to a couple other of their offerings they've done, this one here was the Cometa. This one was just amazing. I thought that really gave a good look of deep space, and that was a Momento Zero. And then one more Memento Zero, which was the Micarta. So these were all limited editions offered by Stilo Stile. You can see that I really think they've hit it out of the park with a lot of these, with all of them, basically. And this Prisma is it very well fits into this bunch. Then in regard to some other pens, this is what it looks like with the new Delta. This is the DV. And then here it is with a Montegrappa Elmo. That's the Crissiocola. And then here it is with a Sailor Pro Gear. And then also something that I have is I have a Leonardo here with the rainbow treatment and this blue that looks nice. This is the Momento Zero Grande size. I almost think that one of these Prisma would look really nice in this blue material. Maybe let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, this is what it looks like with the Pro Gear from Sailor, and then the Momento Zero Grande, and this is the Delta DV. And then, you know, we'll also throw it in here with a standard Momento Zero. Here we go with the writing sample for the Radius Prisma. And this is from Stilo and Stile. And this is a medium stainless steel nib. You know, I wanted to give you another look at that nib, that rainbow treatment. I think that it's just nice and subtle. I know it's hard to see here in the light if I catch it just right, but it has a nice rainbow treatment, but it doesn't have too much pizzazz to it or too much flair. So I kind of like that it's rainbow yet still a little bit subtle. In regard to an ink, one of my favorite inks, which happens to be from Stilo and Stile as well, which is Stilo and Stile, and this is Roman Bronze Oxidation. This is what the ink looks like. It's a real nice, almost kind of emerald color with some nice shading to it. It's very similar to Leonardo's Smeraldo. And then this is what it looks like with a Robert Oster Sooty Shearwater, which is a little bit on the lighter side. This is what the bottle looks like. This is my biggest complaint about this particular ink is it's only a 30 milliliter bottle and it is rather shallow in here. So there's not a ton of ink, but it's kind of hard to get some bigger nibs in there. It's a little more difficult. So while I love the ink, I wish the bottle was about twice the size. And here we go with the rest of the writing sample. This nib is nice. It is a Jowo nib. It is not, I wouldn't say it is perfectly smooth, that it does have a little bit of feedback to it, but it's kind of nice feedback. You're not going to get a lot of line variation out of here. It's just one of those nice feedbacks that gives you a good idea that you're writing with a fountain pen. The ink flow here is on the decent side in regard to reverse writing. It's not too scratchy, but a little bit inconsistent as far as the ink flow. But in regard to the fast writing, the feed keeps up just fine. So there we have the Radius Prisma from Stilo and Stile. I think that this is an interesting brand. I think that it'll be interesting to see what Leonardo does with this Prisma brand and what other things they come out with. I like that it's different from the Momento Zeros, so it's different enough that there's a little bit of similarity, but there's differences in a number of the areas so that it isn't just look just like another Momento Zero or something Leonardo has previously done. It's similar, but yet different. As I mentioned, these go on sale basically as soon as I am posting this video. And if it's something that interests you, I would suggest taking advantage of it sooner rather than later, because I'm pretty certain that these 300 units are going to sell out rather quickly. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.